So the first thing we need to do is we begin to look at what's in our way. What is stopping us or hindering us? What obstacles are between us and the next phase in our life? And you're going to have many phases in this journey as we go from where we are to where he is. There's going to be many journeys, many obstacles. But the challenge is to not look at the obstacle as an obstacle, but look at the obstacle as a stepping stone. You can either call it a failure or you could call it a lesson. I choose to call it a lesson. And I think we all need to start calling the trials and the tribulations that we're going through, the proving, as it says, the pruning, as it says, begin to look at it as an opportunity to grow. From where I am to where he is where I want to be. Somewhere along the way, we left some of the good that we had from our journey to get to where we are. We left that back wherever we came from, and we think that because we're here that we can't use those tools that Abba has trained and given us to use now. What you're seeing now is a result of my journey. It's not a result of me being here. The fact that I'm standing before you is a result of me being here. But the fact of what I'm doing right now came from my journey. So I didn't leave everything behind, or else I couldn't stand and do what he's called me to do. So everything, and Rabbi said this not too long ago, not everything that you learned and you got in your journey was all bad. He brought you from that place to where you are now, and he's taking you to another place. So don't just throw all your stuff away. Many of you, including myself, he called us from where we were to where we are now because he wants us to grow. You didn't come here to sit in the seat and watch me walk around and trip over the speaker. That's a part of why you came, I guess, but you really came because he poked your bubble and you knew there was more. Amen. And you begin, once he poked your bubble and called you out, you begin to look for him. Everywhere you could find, you were looking for him. If anybody mentioned anything about something that wasn't the ordinary, the system that we were in, you were looking to hear what people are saying. Well, what about this holiday? And what about this thing? And I've heard this, and they said this, and we begin to look for him. He called us out, and we begin to search. Do you know the length of time between the call that Abraham got to this test in verse 22 with his son? You know how many years that was? Somebody guess. Call it out. Just guess. That's a good one. 40 is a good one, but it's not it. Longer. It was more. 60. It was more than 60. It was around 70. 70 years. But we think that he popped our bubble 2 weeks ago, and then we here today, and we think we've arrived somewhere. Abraham waited 70 years from the time he was called to the test to prove that he was sold out for Yahweh. 70 years. And we think we arrived in 2 weeks, 4 months, 6 years, 7 years, 25 years, 30 years. You ain't ready, baby. He was in a wilderness, if you want to call it, because we're going to go to that next, but he was in a wilderness kind of situation for 70 years. He was tested and tried. Abraham, 70 years tested and tried before he had to sacrifice his son, which we all know the story. He did it and was successful. And we don't want to wait 2 minutes. I call it the microwave generation, and I don't even got one no more. I don't even use it. So we probably should call it the Instapot, because that's the new thing, or the air fry generation. Microwaves are getting phased out. All this new technology. We're in the air fry generation. We just want the hot air to come in and get us all fluffy and get all puffy, and then we jump out. With the soggy fries, absolutely. That's what you're going to get. Are you guys following this? Is your adaptive behaviors adapting to the fact that there's a pattern seem to be forming from Abraham now to Moshe, to when he calls you say, All right, okay, all right. He brought you out to bring you in. Most of you need to start saying it now, here I am. He brought you out to bring you in, but yet half of you are running from him. You're running from responsibility. You're running from the call. A lot of us are running from work. I guarantee you if I had some Levites in the house, they would tell you that running the temple is hard work. That's why it was their job to do, and that's the job that they had, because it's hard work. But what did they say? All right, y'all remember that when I call you. I'm calling you, I got your phone number, I got the list. And you think that you're going to go from where you were to where you are now to where he's taking you, and you ain't going to go through nothing? Oh. I thought we arrived, and so I thought all I had to do was just sit here and soak up and just fill up, and I just want to be overfilled and overflowing. And so you mean now that I got here, I still got stuff to do? But I don't do the other things, yeah, because I called you out. I called you out to bring you in to do what I need you to do and let go of what you wanted to do. I brought you out and brought you in so you can now do my plan and not your own plan. I brought you out and brought you in so you can do what I say do and not what you thought I said to do. Number 5, but they disregarded it and went their way. How many times he's knocked on your door? How many times have we made excuses? I'm raising my hand for me. I'm not raising it for you. I'm not judging you. Made excuses why we can't come, why we can't do, why we can't serve, why we can't do this, that, the third. We got 1,000,001 excuses. Sadly, all those excuses only mean something to the person making the excuse, because to the hearer, they mean nothing. Excuses are for you. You can give an answer, you can give a solution, but I tell people all the time, your excuse is for you. That's for you to justify your behavior, what you want to do or not do. Your self-sovereignty. Did you ever think for a moment that he called you out to a place because he's trying to change you? He brought you out so he could change you. Because the closer you get to him, the closer you should be looking like him. The closer you should be imitating him. The closer you should be trying to mirror your life to line up with Scripture so you can be more like him. So when people see you, they see him. There's one thing that I know for a fact that keeps us, even at this stage in our lives, from getting from where we are to where he is. The number one culprit is ourselves. We've allowed the world, time, work, family, wife, children, everything else to come in and distract us from our true love. It's out of balance. We've allowed the things of the world, the things of wherever, all of the world. And some of these things the world may look at as good, and we allow these things to distract us from who he is and what he wants to do in our life. He brought us out to bring us in.